It is hot, okay? Hot. We are actually under heat advisory right now. So they're basically telling people, be careful. If you're gonna go outside, just know it's extremely hot. Let's start out by making a really delicious Italian chicken salad. So good, no bake, I don't have to do anything. All you need is some rotisserie chicken. Grab this at your grocery store, Sam's, Costco, wherever it is that you go. Grab that, pull all the meat off of the bone. If you really want to cook something, the thing I would suggest, I've actually got it going over there in my Instant Pot right now. We put the bones in the Instant Pot to make our own bone broth. So you can still use the bones from the chicken, make your own bone broth. So I'm gonna take a stalk of celery, I've already washed it, and we're just gonna chop this into little bite-sized pieces, whatever size pieces you want them to be. And then I think I'm gonna start with my larger bowl just to make sure I've got enough room. Put all of this in here. Add as much as you want though. If you want to add more, that's totally fine. Those pieces actually might be a little larger than what my family would prefer, but they'll be okay. You can take the leaves and cut those up and add them in. Finish chopping this up first. All right, let's add in those. We'll add some more lovely green. I think I'm just gonna do one celery stalk. You can do more if you want, but I think that's enough. Now I've got these roasted red peppers right here. We're just gonna use these. I am gonna chop them up just a little bit though to make sure that the pieces are not too large. Okay, so this is probably a little under a half cup of some chopped roasted red bell pepper. I'm gonna go grab some parsley off the garden and I could chop it up, but we're just gonna use the herb scissors. Which is probably no surprise to anyone because you guys know I use these all the time. My mom said it was kind of like a random gift that she found last minute a couple years ago for Christmas. She was like, it just popped up on her Amazon store and she was like, I thought that it's something maybe you could use. Yeah, I mean, how often do I use these? You guys see them used in almost every single video. That was about a handful or so of the parsley. Now I'm gonna add in these sliced almonds. You could use slivered almonds as well. And technically, if you want to, you can toast them. I'm gonna use maybe a 1/4 cup. Let's see what that looks like. Yeah, once we get it mixed together, I might add a few more. We'll just kind of test it out and see. Add some of that rotisserie chicken. We'll see how much I want here. I'm thinking I'll end up using about 1.5 cups, maybe a little more. We'll see how much we need. I actually just took some bread out of the freezer. So I have been getting a little smarter lately. You know, I was making bread multiple times a week, but now I got a little bit smarter and I started making multiple bread loaves at one time. And now I don't have to bake quite as often. I don't mind baking during the winter because then again, it's nice and cool and it actually kind of helps to warm the house. But right now, whoo, y'all. I mean, it's hot in here right now and we've got all the blinds closed, the curtains closed. We're trying to keep out that sun for the, our poor AC. It's struggling. If you want a meal that has protein in it, but you don't want to cook, it's already cooked for you, which is fantastic. If you want to make this a vegetarian option and you don't even want to do the rotisserie chicken, feel free to grab some chickpeas. You could do, I mean, you'd have to cook them, but you could do some lentils. That would be a good option for this one. You could throw in some pasta in here too and make it more like a pasta salad. Okay, we'll set that to the side. I'm gonna make the dressing that I pretty much always make, the Italian dressing. You guys have seen me make this several times. I know this recipe changes a little bit each time we make it, but the base recipe for this is on my website. I'll have it linked in the description box like always, but I'm gonna put in some avocado oil here. Probably around a 1/4 cup. Let's add around 2 tablespoons of red wine vinegar. About a teaspoon of Dijon mustard. I like to add a touch of mayo because we like a creamy Italian. So just a little bit, maybe a teaspoon to a teaspoon and a half. I always end up adding some garlic powder, maybe a 1/2 teaspoon. Same with onion powder, about a half teaspoon. We love to add oregano, and then I'll also add things like thyme. I've added rosemary. You can add whatever flavors you know that your family enjoys. But oregano is a great one in here. And then pinch of salt. Where's my salt? We can mix all this together and then toss it into the chicken salad. So you might not think this is gonna be enough dressing, but you'd be surprised, okay? I hear you guys say that every once in a while when I pour dressing over something. If you do that and you just let it sit for a little bit and let all the flavors work together, it'll be enough, trust me. Plus, I always feel like as much as I love this dressing, I want to taste all the amazing flavors of a salad like this. Look at those colors. You guys know I love seeing this, oh my goodness. So perfect. I might add a little bit more of those almonds. Oh, also, if you're not looking for a no-cook option, throw in some bacon in here. Yeah, that's gonna be good. My son will probably prefer his on a tortilla. My husband and I will prefer, and probably my daughter too, will prefer over here on the bread that I'm thawing out. So yeah, you can serve it whatever way you want. On a bagel, actually, like an open-faced bagel, that would be really good too. That is some fresh summer flavors right there. Oh man, okay. This is gonna be really good on a sandwich or something. I love the crisp of the celery that you have in there, and then the other crisp or the crunch of the almonds. I love the like different, what's the word I'm looking for? Just comment it below because now I can't think of the word. But I love textures. I love the different textures that you get with a salad like this. So delicious. And the flavor is really good with that dressing. So like I said, some of us are going to have this in sandwich form, like this one right here. And then my son prefers a wrap. So we're having wraps or sandwiches. I've got some fruit, we've got some chips. Sandwich back here, sandwich. And I wanted to show you really quick. These are the chips that we really enjoy. They're the Siete brand. We love, my husband and I love the sea salt and vinegar, the Serrano ones. They're just a tad spicy. Really, really good. And then Boulder has another brand. That's what I'll show you. So these are the sea salt and vinegar, but these right here, I just threw the bag away because we're out. That's the Boulder chips, and they are avocado oil. So really, really tasty, and they're like a kettle cooked. If you've been here for a while, you know that Mediterranean flavors are some of our favorites. We eat it very regularly. We're gonna make a Mediterranean pasta salad. This one is vegetarian, but I do think that easily you could add things like grilled chicken, salami, pepperoni, prosciutto, stuff like that would be really good pairing with this pasta salad. So you could really make it a full meal just by adding a good protein. I have a pot over on the stove. The water is starting to boil. I've got 6 ounces of pasta that we're gonna be putting into that water. This is just a half recipe. You guys know I like to do that, especially for our family, because I know exactly what we're eating for the week and I don't want anything to go to waste. But obviously I will have everything in the description box, all the links listed so that you can double, triple, whatever you need to do for this recipe. I'm gonna start with these Wild Wonder tomatoes. You can use grape tomatoes, cherry tomatoes, whichever ones are your favorite. We love these little Wild Wonders because they have different colors, and I love the different color that it adds, especially to a dish like this. All right, let's take out, we need about like maybe a half cup or so, and I wanna get different colors. Oh, we're boiling. Let's put the pasta in. Now you can just cut these into halves if you want. I like to cut them up a little bit more than that because these Wild Wonder ones, they're a little bit bigger usually, and they're kind of like oddly shaped, which is fine, but then everything ends up being the same size within the pasta. You could just cut them in half if you want, but I usually cut them like into even 8s, just depending on the size of them. Obviously, for one that's little like this, I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna cut it into 4s. Okay, this is probably more tomatoes than we need, but we love tomatoes. I just love the flavor that they add to dishes and the color. So we're gonna go with that. All right, I have a 1/4 of a cucumber here left over from something else. We're gonna cut this up, and I'm just cutting it in half, then cutting it down the middle, and then we'll do slices. We're also gonna add some spinach. I've got some baby spinach here, and you guys are all gonna be surprised. I'm actually gonna chop this up. I know there's been debate here in the past on whether to chop your spinach or not. Well, in this case, we are gonna chop. We're gonna do a rough chop, but I want to make sure that there's not huge pieces because it's not gonna be cooked. I mean, the dressing that we are gonna put on this is really gonna help to break the spinach down, and you'll see, it's fascinating to me how kale and spinach, both greens like this, once you mix them with oil, vinegar, it really breaks them down and almost makes them taste like they've been cooked. Okay, this is a lot, but I wanted a lot in there, so that's fine. You probably need, for this half-size recipe, about a half a cup. This is definitely more than a half cup. All right, now we're gonna add olives. If you're buying everything for this recipe, I would buy your olives sliced. You can buy them already ready to go, and then you're just tossing it in. I already had these. So for me, both of these olives, the kalamata and the green, I didn't wanna buy something when we already have it. So we're making use of all the stuff that we have, and I'm just gonna slice them up, no big deal. It'll just take me a little bit of extra time to make that happen. We've got the green olives in there. Now we'll move on to the kalamata olives and do the same thing. Let's add about a 1/4 cup of feta cheese. You can really just use however much you like. Okay, that looks like a good amount to me. All right, let's set this to the side. The pasta is almost done, so we need to make up the dressing that's gonna go with this. And I have this dressing on my website, so I'll have it linked in the description box below. This is a dressing that we almost always have available in our house because it is great with pasta salad, it's great with salads, it's great as a marinade, it's great as a dipping sauce. I mean, it's one of those things where when we make it, I just store it in the fridge, we keep it for a week, and we usually use it and then make it again. So we need to add some olive oil here to this. I'm just using a regular, I don't even know what you call these. I got it years ago, but you can just mix it together in a bowl if you want to. For this size of the amount that we're making, we're adding about a 1/4 cup of olive oil, about a 1/4 cup of red wine vinegar. You guys know how much I love this one. You can use regular white vinegar if that's your preference. I do think that the red wine vinegar adds a little bit of a different element of flavor that's very good. We need to add some garlic. So I've got some minced garlic here, about a 1/2 clove or so. So let's say 1/2 teaspoon, come on. About a teaspoon of Dijon mustard. I like a little extra. Some thyme and some oregano, and you can get this fresh or you can add it in dried, whichever you have. I wouldn't worry about going out and getting any. We do have fresh thyme on the garden, so I'll probably add some of that in there too, just because I do feel like it's really good. Just like a, I don't know, teaspoon-ish. Maybe even a little less. Pinch of salt and a pinch of pepper if you like it. Okay, I'm gonna add in some fresh thyme. And then we just mix all of that together. Our pasta is done, so we need to get that into the strainer. Dressing looks good. Now, whenever I'm making pasta salad, I do like to run cold water over the pasta so that it'll cool down before I mix it in with everything in the salad. All right, we're gonna toss in this pasta and mix that together. Just start that mixing process. You get to see all those beautiful colors. Now let's add in our dressing and really toss. Now before I add any salt and pepper to this, I am gonna taste it just to see if it needs it, because we added salt to the dressing and then I also added salt to the water when we were cooking the pasta. So let's just try it. And plus the olives are salty, so we might not need it. I don't really think it needs it. I do think it needs more feta. So just a touch more. Mix that, and then this is ready. We love a pasta salad like this, y'all. Love these flavors. So good. Love all the colors that this presents. So nice. Not only is this a really beautiful pasta salad, but the flavors are really good. I love the different texture. I love the crunch of the cucumber that's in there. You've got the tomatoes that are bursting with flavor and the olives that add that saltiness. This is a great one. And top that off with some grilled chicken or something, and you've got a full meal ready to go. This is a summer favorite right here. We're gonna make this pasta salad, and I actually just had to run to the grocery store because, like always, I was missing an ingredient. I pulled this cucumber from our garden. I believe it's been washed. We usually bring them in and rinse them off, but you know, just in case. Whenever I put vegetables into a pasta salad, I do want them to be relatively small. I don't want them to be large pieces because I want to be able to get bites of everything whenever we take a bite of the pasta salad. You can add as much or as little of these vegetables as you want. Go with whatever your favorite amounts are. So it's a pasta salad, but it's also pretty veggie rich too, and it's more of a Mediterranean flair. So that's probably more cucumber than the recipe actually calls for. It's like a cup of chopped cucumber. We're gonna be using these little tomatoes here, and I'm just gonna cut them probably into 4s for most of them. But overall, you want probably a cup, honestly. I mean, it's gonna make a decent amount, but my husband and I will both eat this for lunches for the next few days, and that's kind of the purpose. I got some roasted red bell pepper strips right here, so I'm not gonna have to do very much to them because they're in strips. We'll just lightly give it a little chop. You can obviously roast your own bell peppers if you want, but it's so easy to just buy a jar and keep it in the fridge. Just give that a little chop and then toss that in. Kalamata olives, and I don't even have to do anything to these because they are already sliced. About a 1/3 cup or so of the Kalamata olives. Just toss those in. I've got some artichoke hearts here. These are quartered and they are marinated. Maybe let's do like 2. I'm also already boiling some water so that I can get the pasta going as soon as possible. Okay, chop that up really good. Probably do another one, but let's taste with this amount and just see what that's like, and then we can always add more. Add in some pepperoncini. These are, I believe these are mild, but I do need to slice it up a little bit, or cut it up a little bit, I should say. Not slice, so we're gonna chop it. You could add more of this if you wanted to as well. I think it all just depends on balance of flavors and what things you truly enjoy. All right, the next thing I'm gonna add is some green, and I'm gonna start with cleaning this up a little bit. This is bunching onion from my garden. We're just gonna toss some of that in there. And then I'm also gonna add in dill. Let's add in some of that dill, maybe a few tablespoons. I personally want it to be dill heavy, so I'm gonna go close to like 2 tablespoons. But if you're not a huge fan of dill, then you could go less on that for sure. I have a bit of feta cheese left here, and I actually wanna go less on the feta anyway because I do want this to be lower in fat. We're looking for a high protein yield here with a little bit lower fat. And with some of the other things, especially the dressing going in, it's gonna take the fat content is not high by any means, but it's gonna take it up a little. So I'm gonna add in this little bit of feta. It's probably about a little over a 1/4 cup. And we'll finish that one off. Look at all those beautiful colors. Let's just toss all those together. And it can just be sitting here for a moment while we make the dressing that's gonna go with this. Then we're gonna get the shrimp ready. And if you're not a fan of shrimp, this would absolutely be just as delicious with chicken. So don't be afraid, don't skip out just because I'm using shrimp. Okay, we're gonna make up the dressing here. This is avocado oil, and I'm gonna do probably about 4 tablespoons. You could go up to 6, but I always like to do a little less. I want my dressings to be a little more vinegar heavy than oil heavy. About 2 tablespoons of, not vinegar, lemon is what we're going for in this one. I said lemon vinegar, but even when I make my dressing that's on my website that I make all the time, that one's more vinegar heavy. But about 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. some Dijon mustard. Honestly, Dijon mustard in our house is for marinades and for dressings. Rarely do we use it on sandwiches or anything. It's true. I mean, we will, but it's truly for dressings in our house. Just about a teaspoon of that. So a Greek spice blend is ideal for this recipe. Something like, I think it's called Cavendish. We used to use it all the time, but we've been loving this potato slayer so much. You guys have heard me talk about it now a couple of times. This one is the Potato Slayer by Fire and Smoke Society. They have tons of different blends. This is our favorite one. So I'm actually just gonna add this, but feel free to use some Greek seasoning. If you don't have a Greek seasoning blend, you can easily make one up too. There are tons of recipes online. So a teaspoon of that in there, and I'm gonna leave this out because we're gonna use it again. And you can add salt and pepper to this to taste. I don't think I'm going to. I'll salt at the end if I need it, but I don't know that it's gonna need it, to be honest. Now, it doesn't look like a lot of dressing, but you don't need much for this, okay? You've got so many amazing flavors in there. Don't drown your pasta salad in dressing because you miss out on the flavors of all the ingredients if you do that. Okay, so not a whole lot. It's maybe, I would say, in between a third and a half cup of dressing. That's really all you need. I've got shrimp here, and I went ahead and just got this from the grocery store, the seafood section of the grocery store. Now I'm gonna pat dry a little bit. Whoop, don't fall off. Now, let me just tell you that a pound is a lot of shrimp for this recipe. You can go absolutely a half a pound. I'm gonna go ahead and cook the full pound. I don't know that we're gonna use all of it in this recipe, but I wanna go ahead and cook it up because we might have steak for dinner and then we can have some shrimp on the side or something. Go ahead and pat that dry. Before I take this over there, one with the potato slayer again, go with your favorite Greek seasoning. Okay, that's all you gotta do. Let's just coat these. And then we're just going to put a little bit of oil in our pan and just saute these. So simple, so simple. Actually, let's do both sides while we're at it. You know what would have been really smart is to set another paper towel on top of this and just flip it over. Friends, this is the pasta that we are using. It is the protein plus rotini pasta. Let me take the shrimp over carefully. And because I didn't add any oil to the shrimp at all, we're gonna put just a little bit here in the pan for sauteing. It should be nice and hot. I turned it on a second ago. These will only take a couple of minutes per side. They just turn pink. Shouldn't take very long at all. I'm gonna cook in batches so that they get nice color on them. And I don't overcrowd the pan. Okay, these are ready to turn. And then we'll just put them on a plate for a minute while I cook the next batch. And see, I'm gonna show you, these have beautiful, like a beautiful saute, and they get a little bit of crispiness on the outside when you cook them in smaller batches like this, which is so good. It adds so much flavor. Okay, now we can add batch 2. Make sure they all have room here. Okay, the pasta is almost done. Let's try. That's not weird at all. Okay. I actually really like it. I like the consistency. I like the texture of it. I'm excited. I'm excited about this. Okay, let's add our pasta facial, got a facial, to the bowl. The cool thing about this is it can be eaten hot or cold. I love that. We're probably gonna eat it semi-warm for lunch today, but then it'll go in the fridge and we'll just pull it out and eat it just as is. Okay, let's toss in the vegetables. Oh my goodness, y'all. This is gonna be so delicious. I'm gonna go ahead and pour my dressing over. And then add in the shrimp. You cannot tell me that that is not a 5-star lunch. Oh my goodness. Wow. All right, so for presentation purposes, I left it like this.
Yeah.
But it's a pasta. So we're gonna
Oh, really?
mix that up. There's pasta in there. I know I really filled the bowl.
Let me shake it around.
Should go over well. So this is our lunch for, oh, we lost artichoke. You're gonna eat it with that?
I want to make sure you could get everything.
All right.
All the elements.
So we got artichoke, kalamata olives, shrimp, pasta.
Yeah, this looks good.
Homemade dressing, feta cheese. Literally all the things. That's really good.
I mean, I love seafood and shrimp are really well done, honey. They're good.
We have a lot of shrimp left too. I didn't put everything in here. Still might add more in here. I'm not sure yet, but like I said, we might just have it with dinner tonight.
Yeah, like some shrimp po' boys or something.
Ooh, that's a good idea.
No, this is good. It tastes really good like this, but hopefully we have a little bit left over or might want to put some to the side because this could be a cold pasta as well.
Oh no, we're doing it as a cold. Like, yeah, it's today
easily.
we'll eat it warm because it's warm.
Yeah.
But then it'll go in the fridge and I don't plan on reheating it when I eat it. I'm gonna
Because
eat
then
it
you'd
cold.
overcook the shrimp, so
Yes, exactly.
it'll be better cold than warm, and it's really good now.
I want you to taste just a bite of pasta and tell me what you think. Does it taste weird at all? It's a protein pasta.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's higher in protein.
No, it doesn't taste any different.
It does not taste any different than regular pasta. This is the perfect weekday. I mean, it's perfect for the weekend too.
Oh, yeah.
We're taking it to something even. If you
That's
want
what I
to
was
take it
thinking
to an
too.
event,
Yeah.
like a cookout or something like that, absolutely delicious. This will be so perfect for our lunches for the week. Try this one, y'all. So good.
Yeah, really good. Anything with kalamata olives is the way to
And
go.
artichokes.
Yes. Yes.
Which I might add some more of those because. Just gonna go ahead and apologize for the really excessive noise of my dishwasher right now. You guys have probably heard of antipasto, but we are going to make an antipasto salad. I'm starting with some romaine lettuce. We have some prosciutto. I thought this was a resellable package. All right, we're just gonna use a couple pieces because I actually need prosciutto for another recipe as well. So I'm gonna use half for this one. Also, that's kind of a tip. If you want to save as far as groceries go, a lot of times I'll look at recipes that have common ingredients, and that's kind of what we're having that week because then I can use it multiple times for a few different recipes. Let's cut this into strips. I'm gonna not use the fatty part there. Just cut it into strips. Maybe cut these in half a little. And we'll end up tossing these in. You guys know, if you've been here for a while, that we genuinely love prosciutto. The flavor, it adds so much flavor to things. So although it's not cheap, if you can find a couple of things to add it to, it takes recipes over the top. I wanna say that package was $6-ish. Oh man, I'm just gonna tear these. That's a lot easier. So part of the reason that I make it small pieces of prosciutto is that if there are large pieces in there, we'll all fight over it. So when we go to make our salad bowls, everybody will reach for the huge pieces of prosciutto. Just do like a little mix, getting that in there a bit. Okay, now we're going to add some pepperoni. You could use salami or pepperoni. I usually will opt for pepperoni because I can use it for this recipe, but then also my son can use it to make little pizzas for his lunches. So he'll take a piece of naan bread and put some pepperoni on it and some cheese and put that in our little oven, air fryer, toaster oven thing, and then make some little pizzas out of it. Okay, so I'm gonna take the pepperonis and just go all over. And I do like to try and get some underneath too, just for some depth and dimension. Right before we serve this, we'll mix it all together. But I do think that it looks pretty if you just have it, you know, kind of all through, even before serving. So it's not just all sitting on the top. Y'all know, I'm always thinking about how it looks, how food is appealing to the eye. Now for pepperoni, I didn't measure anything. That package is 6 ounces. I'm maybe using 2 ounces of pepperoni, But obviously a lot of that just depends on the number of people that you're trying to feed with this salad. I like a salad like this though because it's packed full of protein and flavors that we love. Now, this is a little bit of a cheater version here. I actually have fresh Parmesan, but I want to use this up before I shred up that other Parmesan. And this one is what is that, grated? So I'm just gonna add a little bit here. I love artichoke hearts. Now you can just leave them quartered like this and put them in the salad if you want. I am gonna chop them up a little bit just so that we can have several bites of this all throughout. I'm gonna go ahead and use the rest of this jar. So we used some of this the other night in a dinner. This was a 12-ounce jar, so I used half of it today and half of it for another meal. So again, this is one of those things where I'm saying, when I'm researching recipes and trying to figure out what we're gonna eat together as a family, I'll often do that. Okay, I had a recipe that required artichoke hearts, so I'm gonna try and find another recipe that requires artichoke hearts so that I can buy one container and it works for 2 meals. Okay, we're just going to do a rough chop of these. Okay, I've got these organic pitted green olives. So we are going to add some of these, and you can add them whole. I actually might add a few whole because I think they look pretty, but for the most part, I'm gonna cut them at least in half. You can also add black olives. I actually thought that I had black olives, but I don't. I have kalamata olives, so I didn't think that one through. But black olives are really pretty in this. I'm also going to cut up a few of these pepperoncini, just a couple. You can add them whole to the salad if you want as well. Let's add just a little bit more of this cheese on the top, just a bit. I have this dressing container, but I also have several others. You can mix it in a bowl. I'm gonna add about a 1/4 cup of oil. I'm taking some mayo, and I usually add about 2 tablespoons. I personally like to add just a touch of stone ground mustard. We need about 3 tablespoons of red wine vinegar. And y'all, this dressing, seriously, it's ingredients I always have on hand at our house. Like, I never measure when I make this. It's just kind of dump everything in, and we always have this stuff. I add just a touch of lemon juice, so maybe 1.5 teaspoons. Basil, parsley, and oregano, but you could also just do an Italian seasoning, Italian mix. Maybe 1/2 teaspoon of each. I'm adding about 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder and about 1/2 teaspoon of onion powder, just because we have it and it was convenient. I do like to add a touch of salt, and one ingredient that is definitely optional, sometimes I add it and sometimes I don't, is grated Parmesan, but you do not have to add it. And also I've added it to the salad already, so I probably won't add it. This is all the amount that I need, but obviously feel free to make as much as you want. If I'm gonna eat a salad, this is exactly the kind of salad I wanna eat. These flavors pop, guys. The prosciutto, the pepperoni, the artichoke, so good. All those really bold flavors in a salad make it not boring at all. It is so good. That homemade dressing, if you're not making your dressing homemade, you're missing out. So delicious. For my husband and I am going to be making a tuna Orzo pasta salad. We love pasta salad. My kids really love pasta salad too, but we're gonna switch it up and make an Orzo version of it. And I've got some water boiling over on the stove right now. Before I even get started on that, I'm gonna make up the dressing. You guys have seen me make this dressing before. I've made it several times here on my channel. We usually just make a little bit. Sometimes if I do have leftover, we'll use it in the fridge for the next couple of days and make a couple of really good salads out of it. Set this to the side and start making all the other stuff. For the next couple of steps, we're gonna move over to the stovetop. We've got to get our Orzo cooked and our tuna cooked. If you want to go the really easy route for this, use canned tuna. My preference is like ahi tuna steaks. We cook them up and then you just kind of shred them apart. So it's still tuna. I just think that it tastes better this way. But the cheaper version, the easier version, the faster version is gonna be your canned tuna. The water is boiling. I've already salted it. We're gonna add a whole 16 ounces of Orzo pasta because I have a feeling the kids are gonna want some of this one too. So let's add that in and cook up the pasta. While that's cooking, we'll move over here and get our tuna cooked. For tuna, keep it simple. I like to add some salt, bringing out the wonderful flavor of the tuna. That in, salt side down. Let me wash up my hands so I can add salt to the other side. While those are cooking, I've got some spinach here that I'm going to kind of finely chop. It'll wilt a little bit just based on the dressing and everything kind of mixing together with the vinegar and stuff in there, but not like it would if you were cooking it. So that's why I do like to cut it down quite a bit. You can add whatever kind of vegetables and stuff like that. I should have sharpened this knife. Vegetables and things like that that you like to go in a pasta salad. I think cucumber, tomato, all of those are delicious. Just dicing this, and then I'm also gonna add some red pepper because it adds beautiful color. Man, this knife really needs to be sharpened. All right, checking the pasta, that looks good. Let's flip the tuna and get that cook all the way through. Once the pasta is done, we're going to drain it. Then I'll put it all in a bowl and mix together with all of these awesome ingredients. I completely forgot that I was gonna add sun-dried tomatoes to this. So let me get some out here and chop them up a bit. And then we're also gonna add basil, but I will just cut that with my herb scissors. I've got my pasta here. I have a few basil leaves. Let's add in all of these ingredients. All of our chopped ingredients. Let's just kind of give it a pre-mix here. Look at those beautiful colors. Take the tuna like so. You see how easily that just shreds apart.
Yeah, we weren't arguing.
Toss in our salad dressing. And that's it. You got, oh no, feta cheese. Gotta have feta. About a half a cup of feta cheese. Well, maybe more just because we made more orzo. Also pine nuts. If you like pine nuts, that's a good addition to this. All right, now we mix all of it together. If you feel like you need more dressing, you can easily add more, just make it up. You saw how quick and easy it was to make that. But this is a great lunch because you can keep it in the refrigerator. It doesn't have to be reheated. It's packed full of good flavors. You've also got your protein in there from the tuna. You've got your carbohydrates. I mean, you've got everything you need right here. It's delicious. That's really good. If you wanna make this, but you don't already have orzo on hand, make it with any type of pasta. That's all it is. It's just a pasta salad. But the flavors here are so good. Like I said, easily just use canned tuna and you're gonna get the exact same thing. But y'all, really good. Our verse today comes from Matthew 19:26. But Jesus looked at them and said, with man, this is impossible, but with God, all things are possible. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you're new here, I would love if you would subscribe and stick around. Just hit that red subscribe button, and you can also hit the notification bell and it will let you know whenever I upload a new video. If you enjoyed this one, you definitely gotta check out the one that I have listed above here. It is so good, so delicious. You're gonna love this one as much as we did. Have a great week.